stop, Exeter.
Hi, I'm Paul Nicholson. I know this winter's been challenging for all of us, even more so for our postal carriers. Join me as we visit the Exeter Post Office and interview Kyle Perkins, the postmaster here at the Exeter Post Office, and then get out on the streets to see how people deliver the mail. All that and more right here on Next Stop Exeter. Hi, I'm here with Kyle Perkins, the postmaster here at the Exeter Post Office. Kyle, we're here to talk a bit about how the weather has affected operations here at the post office. We'd love to learn more about the challenges that you're faced with. But first off, how long have you been the postmaster here in Exeter?
I've been the postmaster in Exeter for coming up on 2.5 years.
2.5 years. And were you in another role here at the post office before that?
I did a short stint in this office here 6 years ago, but I was a postmaster in actually the Hillsborough office and a couple other smaller offices before that. But
okay, so this is your largest post office to date?
Absolutely, yes.
Okay, so tell me just a bit about, in the 2 years that you've been here, how the weather's been this winter for you compared to what your previous experiences have been.
Yeah, in my 2 years here, we've had two of our snowiest delivery times on record. We've had to, district-wide cancel mail delivery this year one time, and we did my first winter here back in 2013, in February 2013. We weren't able to deliver the mail because of the extremely high volume of snow that we had in those two instances. But we have a lot of delivery routes here, so snow impacts us anytime it falls. If it's a small amount of snow, it can have an impact in a certain way. If it's a large amount of snow, it impacts us significantly in another way.
So your mail, you have mail that comes from people in Exeter that goes in one mailbox. You have mail that comes from everywhere else. Where does that mail come from? Okay,
the mail that we deliver is from all over the country. It's processed for Exeter, Brentwood, and Kensington, all the 03833 area zip codes. From Manchester, it gets trucked out to us. We break that down. We have clerks, a very dedicated group of people that are behind the scenes, that they sort the mail to each delivery route. We have 18 delivery routes in this office. That goes to each carrier. That carrier will break that mail down, sort it by address for all the customers throughout those three towns, most of it being Exeter, but also Brentwood and Kensington. And then the carriers load that mail up into their vehicle and go out and deliver for the day. The mail that leaves Exeter is put into any of our blue collection boxes in town, as well as customers just leaving it at their business. They have a tub that the carrier picks up. They could leave it in their outgoing mailbox with a little red flag up. The carrier picks it up. They collect all that mail. All that mail is brought back here daily and dispatched that night back to Manchester, where it gets sorted and sent on to its destination.
So what time in the morning in nice weather does that trailer show up here in Exeter?
It's kind of either way. We've had very good mail flow from our processing facility in Manchester, so we're getting that mail kind of rain, sun, or shine, or snow right around the last of it around 7 o'clock in the morning to be sorted, to begin being sorted for the 03833.
So in bad weather, I assume the trailer's showing up later in the morning here in Exeter. Tell me a bit about that.
It can. It's not. It doesn't. If it's snowing out, it doesn't mean necessarily the truck's going to be late. We've had excellent mail flow from our processing facility in Manchester, and it seems to be pretty clockwork on the time, weather aside. If it's like it has been a few times this winter, it's going to run a little later, but not a major operational impact.
So trailers still show up. Your mail delivery is the drivers go out in the street to deliver the mail. what happens? Clearly they can't deliver as fast as they're normally used to delivering. They have to work extra hours. Is there some sort of guidelines about how late a postal carrier can work in the evening to deliver mail, or can we expect the mail to be delivered at 9 o'clock at night?
Okay, we're gonna, the goal of every employee here, from every clerk in the back to every carrier taking the mail out to the street, is to deliver and collect the mail every day. Sometimes with extreme weather, we also have to think of the safety of our employees as our primary concern. So although we are going to try to deliver all the mail every day, you know, there's no real set thing about the time of day. We've had them out there very late, but it's more of a concern of the safety of a particular area. If there hasn't been a lot of snow removal in the area, some of these rural roads out in Brentwood and Kensington area, if the plows haven't been on those, as the day wears on, the carriers may not be able to access those roads, and some of our city carriers may not be able to access the mailboxes or get up stairs safely if it's a heavy snowfall. So it's not necessarily a time frame thing as it is the carrier's judgment call, and if this is a safe way to deliver my route. Am I making a good decision here to protect myself and get the mail delivered safely?
You know, many people could put up with bad weather, cold weather for a day or two at a time. You have postal carriers delivering mail 6 days a week. Does a carrier work 6 days every week? Do they work 5 days a week, and there's somebody different 1 day a week? How does that work in terms of manpower?
It's designed for 5 days a week for most of them. Some of the rural routes is a little different. Some of them work 11 days in 2 weeks. But for the most part, they're all designed to have a 5-day week. Operationally, if for staffing issues or other concerns, we have people in 6 days a week. You know, that varies from week to week. Sometimes it works out where they get their day off. Sometimes it doesn't work out, and they come in to work. Is
that done on a random basis, though? The 6th day off, do people typically get that same 1 day off every week, or is it random? How does that work?
It depends. Our city carriers have a rotating day off. One week they'll have Monday off, the next week they'll have Tuesday, next week Wednesday, that kind of thing. It's a rotating day off. The rural carriers, they have a set day off. But again, operationally, if they need to work their day off, depending on what we have for staffing, they can work that day off. But they do have a scheduled day that's the same every week. The clerks on the inside have a scheduled day off as well. Same thing. Depending on staffing and operational needs of the service, they may be required to work that day off.
Okay. Now, for my last question, I read in the paper recently that the U.S. Postal Service is going to be purchasing 168,000 new mail trucks. I guess the design truck that you have today has been around a long, long time. So they're looking to come out with a brand new mail delivery truck. If there was one thing you'd like to see in this new truck that doesn't exist today in the current trucks, what would that one feature be?
I would say all-wheel drive.
All-wheel drive?
Because that's on my mind right now. Ask me in mid-July and I might say air conditioning. But I think the all-wheel drive would really, or front-wheel drive, would be a lot better. Where these are very light vehicles. They don't do great with just the rear-wheel drive. But I think that would probably be the number one thing.
Okay, well, Kyle, thank you very much. Kyle
You're
Perkins,
welcome.
the postmaster here in Exeter. Hi, I'm here with Dave Dutil, a mail carrier for the Exeter Post Office. And Dave, we'd love to talk to you about the challenge that you run into in delivering the mail on almost a daily basis here in Exeter with all the snow that we've got. I've noticed you're carrying mail in the summer, and invariably you're wearing shorts. Right. Today you're not wearing shorts. I see you're wearing what appears to be boots with some sort of cover-ups on it. Tell us a bit about what we're in the winter.
Well, these boots are just, you slip them right on. They're very light, but they're waterproof. I love them. They're great for winter. And then I put my grippers right over the bottom of them. Have little spikes on the bottom. That way you don't slip on the ice.
So it sounds like you're climbing up mountains to deliver mail, but I'm not aware of any mountains here in downtown Exeter.
Some days it feels like mountains.
Really?
Yeah.
Tell us, what's that like? People not shoveling their walks out, or?
Yeah, well, usually the day of a storm, we'll let people have a break, because everybody has to work mostly, so they're not going to be out there shoveling just for me. you know, the streets, inevitably you have to climb over something to get to the sidewalk. Hopefully the sidewalk's plowed. The town does a good job keeping up, but it's a lot to do.
So what time in the morning do you start delivering the mail?
About the earliest I get out on the streets around 9:30.
So by 9:30, fair to say most people don't have their driveways or walkways shoveled or plowed yet?
No, not really. It depends on the timing of the storm. You know, and some people are more proactive about it than others. You know, some people have a long ride to work and just don't have the time in the morning. So give them a break, a day, 2 days, maybe, depending on, you know, the situation.
So last week, perhaps the week before, we had some of the coldest days in a long, long time here in Exeter.
Yeah.
How did you manage that?
You just go. You get used to it, I guess. You know, you just, you know, you dress for success. You know, put a hat, cover up your face.
Well, I see a truck here which looks surprisingly like an igloo with a blue and red stripe on it. Do you go back and forth to the truck more frequently in the winter? Is the truck running in the winter so you can run back in and get warm?
No, you can't keep it running. That's a big no-no. And I don't go back to it any more often. You just it just prolongs the day. The more, you know, you just want to get through your route. You know, so you just do it the same way every day. You know, you make changes if you have to, according to parking situations, and if you have a large parcel you have to drop off or something. But otherwise, you just do it the same way every single day.
So, how many times a day would you say you have to go back to the truck?
Well, that's a good question. I never really tallied it up. Probably about 30.
Really? So maybe every 15 minutes you have to go back to the truck.
Yeah, sometimes a little bit longer, sometimes shorter, but on average that sounds good.
So in the winter, are you finding yourself carrying more mail per trip than you would normally in the summer?
No, it's more about the seasons, like Christmas season, that kind of, you know, holidays like Valentine's Day and stuff like that. That's what differentiates between the amount of mail you carry.
So what's the bag rated for? How many pounds of mail are you comfortable with carrying in a bag?
I think it's about 35.
35 pounds?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not comfortable with it, but you know, that's what you do.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Some days it's your shoulder's a little sore.
So in the summer, you're probably drinking more fluids because it's too hot out. What do you do in the winter? You drinking more soup?
No, I still drink the same.
You still drink the same? Okay.
Yeah, you know, I do the same thing every day. I mean, I start the day with the same amount of, you know, liquids. You know, in the wintertime, you got to stay hydrated too. You know, I mean, it can catch you by surprise if you don't drink anything. So, but in the summer, definitely drink more. And I usually carry, I usually put my water in the freezer overnight. By the time I'm done, you know, in the afternoon, it's melted. So.
Do you bother putting it in the freezer overnight if you're working in the winter?
No.
No, you still need to do that.
No, I don't put it in the freezer.
Gotcha.
No, it freezes on its own.
Okay. David, thank you so much for your time. Appreciate the work that you do and look forward to checking my mail this afternoon.
You're welcome.
All right.
On a cold and snowy day in February, the Southern District YMCA held an event to commemorate the raising of the last steel beam for the new Exeter area YMCA on Linden Street. As part of the event, the YMCA asked area residents to come and sign their name on the beam before it was raised into its final position, and our camera was there to record it.
Ultrasound, you can see the baby's face. Really? Yeah. Sorry.
More than 50 people braved the cold to sign the beam, and of course, we had to memorialize Next Stop Exeter as a signatory on the beam.
It's right here. Okay, go ahead. Oh, Gary's the sign your name. Hey. Oops, sorry.
That's right.
She's coming. Murphy's here.
Too hard to delay.
Maybe just
A forklift was used to carefully transport the very heavy steel beam to the building's frame. Finally, to applause from the crowd, the final beam was lifted into place and secured.
Pretty well balanced, huh?
Do you want to jump up in the air? Ready, set, go. Gotta go out about 15 feet. Oh, we can't go. I know.
Turn around, we want the sign yourself.
Why is this done? Because that's just the beginning. The closer it in, then the word.
Keep watching Next Stop Exeter for an upcoming interview with a YMCA spokesperson.
Thank you for joining us this afternoon here on Next Stop Exeter. Look forward to upcoming episodes where we talk about politics, food, movies, all that and more right here on Channel 98 on Next Stop Exeter.